What's up, y'all? It's Cousin Chet. What's up, y'all? It's Cousin Chet. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank you for watching. Tonight, I'm with my niece, Emily. Hey, Emily, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. Tonight, we wanted to talk about Emily is a new mom. She's been a mom for like 2 years and 9 months now. And she's got another one on the way. So Chet is a great uncle, 2 times coming up. So tell me about like what your just first reactions are to like what's it like being a new mom?
Scary.
You know, scary?
Yes, 100% scary. I was probably in a daze for like at least the first 3 days after having Roman. Like, seriously, it's terrifying. I mean, it's probably not like that for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But for me, it was scary.
Was it like a really big anxiety?
I mean, I never had anybody growing up.
Right.
Nobody had babies around me, so I didn't know. I've never held a baby before I had my baby.
Yeah.
So everything was new.
Right.
So I literally felt like I had no idea what I was doing. Like when I was in the hospital, I was like, I can't believe they're gonna let me take this human home. Seriously, like I wanted to stay in the hospital really long so they could teach me more things before I left because I didn't feel prepared.
Right.
Like I thought I was too. Like once you're pregnant, you're like, I'm gonna be prepared for this baby. But once you have your baby, like I was not at all. It was terrifying.
Right.
This time I'm ready though.
What were the kind of things that you were terrified of? Like what were you scared of?
Everything. I don't know. You just don't know what that. You don't know what the hell your baby wants. When I didn't know what I wanted when it was crying, like he would just cry. I would change him and feed him, and like what else do you do after that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who did you lean on for help?
Benjamin and my mom.
Right.
And his mom. Benjamin's mom came out. Stephanie.
Right.
She helped me a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause she stayed.
Everybody actually. I mean, there's a lot of people that helped me. So.
Yeah. But like when you first brought him home.
Yeah.
Steph was there.
Yeah, she came from Alaska.
Two of his grandmas were there.
Yeah.
Or I guess both grandmas.
Yeah. A lot of support.
Yeah. When his paternal grandmother, she stayed for a little while, right? Like, wasn't she here for a little while after he was born?
Yeah.
Like a week, 2 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, no, she was here for like 2 weeks.
Right? Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was helpful.
She helped a lot, yeah.
Right. And then, so...
I was afraid to be alone with my own baby. Like, obviously, like, I was really afraid to be alone with him because I was like, oh my God, because, you know, my mom coached me through it when he was crying. She was like, it's fine, like, chill out, he's not going to die or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, I just don't know. I don't know what's wrong with him. It was just like normal baby stuff. Yeah. But, yeah, and then, yeah, it's scary.
It's hard for me to say what other women feels, you know what I mean? But I can only imagine that you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You are not alone.
Yeah, no. I don't feel like that at all.
Those experiences. I have to...
There's probably a lot of people, yeah. But there's also probably a lot of people who were totally ready and comfortable because they were around kids and raised their siblings and stuff like that.
Right,
you know?
Right. Well, you know, that's a good point because, like, my mom, even she was 15 when I was born. But even though she was 15 when I was born, she had kind of been responsible for raising her little brothers.
Yeah, that's what she said.
You know? And so she had already been through, like, changing diapers and being responsible in that way. Mm-hmm. And that's something, you had never been responsible like that before.
No, never. Like, and I was the only child.
Right.
So I didn't know anything about babies.
Yeah. And you didn't have a lot of, like, little nieces and nephews?
None at all.
Right.
Like, none at zero.
Yeah.
No kids.
Right.
I was the youngest one in my family.
You're basically going in blind.
I had, yeah. Yeah, straight up. I was.
But you had his dad, you had Benny, my nephew.
Benjamin was more comfortable with Roman off rip than I was, I think. Like, yeah, like he was changing all the diapers after he was born and stuff because I was afraid to change the diapers.
What?
Yes, like for like the first like at least 12 hours, I was like, oh my God, because I just don't know what I'm doing. I just like didn't know at all.
Yeah.
And so he took the initiative and he really
Right.
He really did that for the first like day or so. Yeah.
Right on.
So
Right on.
freaking out.
You know, I get to see him quite a bit, and I'm still uncomfortable changing his diaper. Honestly, I think partially just because.
I mean, no one wants to change a shitty diaper. I mean,
I don't know. I don't think I should feel weird, but I feel a little bit weird. I'm like,
you're also a man.
That's
So.
kind of. I don't know.
I feel like
But
that's
anyhow.
normal. I would not. I don't want to change anybody's diapers but my own kids. So.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't even want to change my own. No, I'm just kidding. But so you know, he comes in the first couple weeks. You're like super scared and I'm gonna call it anxious.
Yes, 100% anxious.
Okay, you know what I mean? Because like scared is, I feel like, because that's why. What are you scared of? Like you're afraid of rolling over on him? Are you afraid of dropping him? Are you afraid of?
No, you're just afraid of like something crazy happening and like you don't know how, or like he's crying and you can't handle it or you can't help him or something. Like I was just afraid of like, yeah, just like.
Just not being. You just didn't feel ready.
Yeah, or like you know you're just as scared of like SIDS. Like you know how they're like sudden infant death, nothing causes it.
So you're afraid of like.
So you can't sleep because you're just like, oh my god, I have to watch him. Yeah.
What was that like? Being sleep deprived.
Oh, you get used to it.
Right.
Like yeah.
Right
I'm low key like that already. Your body prepares you when you're pregnant. Well, at least me. I can't say that for everybody, but
Yeah.
I wake up every couple hours already just because. This one's ready to go. He's like,
Right.
He's like, I'm preparing your body now.
Right.
So you will be sleep deprived.
You will be ready, Mom.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Roman is here, and then about when did you get comfortable?
Not too long. It didn't take long. It was like a month.
Yeah. Right.
Or like like after the first couple weeks.
So like that anxiety kind of goes away. You start realizing, okay, I've made it a month.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
he starts to be, a little bit more. I don't know. I'd say around maybe I don't know when it got easier. Shit, I don't think it ever gets easier. It's all phases.
Well, I guess I was like, when the big, because you really described this like really big anxiety.
Yeah, after a couple
And
weeks.
so I'm
and
like,
it goes
when
away.
did that big anxiety? When did you start being like, okay, I can breathe a little bit?
Yeah, a couple, just a couple.
I mean,
weeks.
and I was around. I know that I don't think there was like a big off the cliff like I'm Gucci now, but
yeah, just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, I felt fine with him afterwards. Like it was really getting breastfeeding down.
right.
I had to get that down. That was a big anxiety because like your baby doesn't know how to breastfeed and you don't know how to breastfeed your baby. So I was like, shit, this is a learning experience for both of us at the same time.
Right.
And
it was
once I got,
challenging for you.
once I got that down, then it was smooth sailing pretty much from there. Cause I knew I was feeding him and he was fine and like
Yeah. But there were some little things that were going on with him, like the first, when he was first born, that created some challenge. We don't have to get into specifics of it, but didn't he have challenges breastfeeding as well?
It's just learning.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
it's just basic learning
What am
now.
I trying
I
to
mean,
think
looking
of
back on it, yeah, it's just I thought there was stuff wrong, but nothing was wrong. He was just learning how to do it, and so was I. And then, yeah, I think Lucas is probably gonna go through the same thing.
Right.
He has
Well,
to
but
learn
you'll
how to
know.
do it.
You won't
Yeah,
know.
and then I can be I'm on a good page where I can teach him how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you chose to breastfeed with Roman?
Yeah.
Like before he was born, you're like, I know I'm breastfeeding.
Yeah, I didn't even question. Yeah, I definitely was
Right.
doing that.
And then cameraman. And then you good, Bob? And
Yeah.
then and so yeah, you were just like, no question, I'm breastfeeding, and you breastfed him. And then that was a new experience too.
Yeah.
And then you created a lot of good attachments, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, how did you feel about it? Like
I'm not one of those women, like a lot of, like pretty much, I don't know most, but a lot of moms are like, this is the best thing ever. Oh my God, I would have picked it. My journey is so long. Like, they're just super excited about it and happy and like good for them.
right?
But
right.
that's not, I
That
never
was
felt
not your
like that.
experience.
No, I did not like it.
You actually used the phrase one time that you felt like a human pacifier.
Yeah, it was horrible. I
like,
did it. Breastfeeding, I really don't think is for everyone, for real. It's
Right.
not for everybody.
and I thought that was really interesting because when you said I don't want to be a human pacifier, I really and there's going to be some people who are like, I can't believe she would say that. But, I mean, it is what it is,
No,
right?
so
This is your
annoying.
experience,
It's
right?
so
But
hard.
after having that experience, because you breastfed him for quite a while.
8 months, yeah, until I had a surgery, and then Gigi took him for
Right.
like 2 whole weeks while I recovered,
Right?
and so he weaned that time.
Kind of, he just had to.
Yeah.
Because you had a surgery.
Yeah.
It was kind of an emergency surgery, right? So like you weren't planned for it. There was, because I remember you were not ready to let him go.
No,
Like,
yeah,
literally,
he
I was like-
he was like 8 months. He was like 8 months. So I remember we still had to buy formula for him afterwards. He was formula fed
Yeah.
until he was a year.
Right.
So
For what do you mean? Both?
I didn't breastfeed him after.
Oh,
that
you
2
didn't
weeks.
breastfeed him after
Yeah,
you got back from surgery.
I totally dried up
'Cause
and
he was
everything.
oh, you dried up.
Mhm.
Got you. So it
Yeah.
was like there was no going
Yeah.
back.
No, after 2 weeks, you can't.
Like the universe is like, Roman is done.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's like, you know, she's a new mom. She needs a little bit of help. She don't really know how to wean him. Boom, we're gonna help her out.
Yeah, Juanita just took him for a couple weeks, and that helped
Yeah.
me out a lot because I had to recover from the surgery. It was horrible. So
Right, and you got used to not having him.
yeah, that was the first time he was like ever away from me for a night. I think
Um,
was the night that I went into the hospital.
Yeah, and I remember like talking to you about it before that, and how comfortable you felt with different people, and if you were ready to do that, and you really, if I remember right, you really weren't. You're like, I'm not letting this baby out of my sight.
Yeah, no.
You know.
But at a point, like, hold on, his grandma's calling me right now. I should probably answer.
You should.
So we have to take a break. For a
Don't
second.
pause. Hey, we need
Okay.
music. Hey, thank
Hello.
y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Sorry about the interruption, but as we're talking about Roman, his great grandmother who's taking care of him is calling, so we have to take that phone call. So this commercial break is brought to you by Cousin Chet, Pulp Fiction, and we are gonna give y'all the beautiful treat of Boney Maroney. Let's go. Give me some.
I will.
Thank you, Boney Maroney. Thanks for stepping in. Thanks for jumping in real quick like that on the fly. I'm super thankful to have our literal house band, Boney Maroney, and super thankful that they are willing to come and play some music and on the fly, man. Thank you, Boney Maroney. Appreciate y'all very much. So as we were discussing, being a new mom,
Yep.
you have some support. His great grandmother is able, taking care of him tonight.
Yep.
And
That was her.
her phone comes up, her number, her name comes up on the phone, and we got to take it. So
Yep.
that's all part of the experience, right? So we were talking about breastfeeding, and we were talking about him getting weaned because you had surgery,
yes.
and Gigi
Yep.
took him,
Yep.
and the universe was like, Roman, you're done with breast milk.
Yep. I was really happy, honestly, and pretty much happy about it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was pretty
Almost
much
like
happy.
relieved.
Yeah, like there was a couple, I think, for like, fleeting like moment, I was like, oh, it's getting stolen from me, which was true, like, kind of did get stolen from me, but I was like, oh, that doesn't suck. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but this one, I mean, I'll say that I didn't like it, but I'm still gonna breastfeed this one just because I feel like I have to,
Yeah.
Like
Well,
we talked about that before.
We did, and that's one of the big topics. Like thought was very interesting to talk about tonight was that when you got pregnant this time, you didn't want to breastfeed.
No, I planned on not doing it at all.
Right.
I was like, I'm totally gonna formula feed. I don't care. I'm doing it.
Right.
But I looked it up and.
But what were some of the reasons that because you had this experience with Roman? So what was it about that experience with Roman that was kind of like, okay, I really don't want to do that. I'm gonna try the other.
I mean, it
option.
hurts. It never feels good. You know, it really does pretty much hurt.
Right.
It hurts in the beginning a lot, but it's just not comfortable for me. And then like you have to keep your. I hate not being hands free. I'm pretty much not hands free at all.
Sure.
With my baby and like I don't know. I get overstimulated. So I have a hard time with like being touched constantly.
Sure.
Especially now that I have a 2-year-old, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Because you recognize, like, I gotta be attentive to both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, because like now I'm worried about, because I breastfeed him now, I'm worried about like shit, now I'm going to have to deal with being tied down all the time. I'm going to have time for Roman. He's 2. I get up all the time for him and do stuff, but now I'm worried about that too. But.
Sure. And that's one reason, those are some of the reasons why.
A bottle's just easier.
Initially you're like, right?
Formula's just easier.
You're like, I'm just going to do the other option. There's, option A and B, and I'm going to choose B this time because I chose A the first time. So let me see what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And this is an option that seems like it'd be easier.
Yeah, I just didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to breastfeed. I still don't want to, but I just literally am like, I have to give my second son what I gave my first son,
Well, let's talk about the story of how you kind of came to that decision, because you were like, I just don't want to do it. I'm going to do formula this time. You had started sharing it with friends and family.
Yeah.
And some of them started reacting. What were their reactions?
My mom didn't care. Benjamin always supports me. My best friend didn't care. No one really cared at all besides you and Gigi, because, you guys really did know the benefits of it before I did, because I didn't really think it was that much of a difference. I was just like formula fed, breastfed.
Yeah.
Same nutrition, same everything. And it's just not, so.
Well, because I remember one day coming over and you're like, hey, Chet, I decided to breastfeed. And it was because you would, we had had a conversation. You're like, because of this conversation,
Yeah.
you looked it up. You looked
Yeah.
it up yourself. You were like, look, maybe I need to investigate this.
Yeah, because you were like, what did you say? You were just like, well, have you even looked up like the differences? Like, do you think you could be in the middle somewhere of like nutritional value, from like bottle feeding, formula feeding to breastfeeding? Is there like a middle ground or something? And
I
was
do
just
remember
like,
saying that.
And then I just like, that got me thinking. I was just like, what do you mean middle ground? Like, they should be pretty much about the same. And, like, I was like, they're the same. But then I looked it up and it's like totally not the same. So, like, nutritional wise and just health benefit wise, sickness wise. So yeah, I had to breastfeed.
Yeah, I wish it was kind of as fresh as it was then, but I remember you were like, breastfeeding compared to just formula feeding, you run higher risk of diseases, autoimmune diseases. We talked about attachment issues, right? Wasn't there like some attachment differences? Like, because I remember one time you said that the study showed that kids that were formula fed only didn't make friends as easy.
I wish I had like the list on my phone right now. I could like look it up. The legit.
Go ahead, take a minute.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was one of them. You said that the possibility of being overweight was increased with formula kids. You said IQ was definitely related.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was like a significant difference in IQ averages. Good. I'm just talking to keep filling up space. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of differences. I mean, so much so that
you changed your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually did kind of like a 180. Because when you can't, you're going to use formula now, right? Or like as a backup or whatever. Or are you going to pump? Oh, you're going to probably pump.
No, I just breastfeed.
Right on. You got it? Because I remember another thing was that you wanted his dad to have some of that attachment time too. That was one of the, if I remember right, that was like one of the benefits that you felt came from using a bottle.
They have, oh yeah, I wanted my son to use a bottle just so I could like go out longer than,
Yeah.
without him, because, I mean, even I couldn't go longer than like 2 hours anyways, because like you have to breastfeed, your boobs will hurt,
Right.
so you have to be there, but you got to make sure he can eat when you're gone too,
Right.
like even though like I could be gone for 2 hours, but if he wants to drink milk in that 2 hours, I want to make sure he can get fed
Right.
without me being there.
Right.
I found all kinds.
Right on. So health benefits for baby. Valuable antibodies protect the baby against viral and bacterial infections. So one of the benefits of breastfeeding is that you give them a stronger immune system.
From sickness, and like if they are sick, you can get antibody. Like your milk will make specific antibodies for them for that sickness to help them get over it faster. As if I was just feeding him formula, he wouldn't get that.
Wouldn't get any of that.
Yeah, he wouldn't get he wouldn't get special.
So hold on, you're saying that the mother actually creates something in her milk that helps his immune system.
Yeah, like it's my milk recognizes that he's sick.
Right.
And makes its own medicine basically to help him fight it off.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of a mistiming thing. Bonnie Maroni, you guys good? You guys good? Okay. So yeah, a lot of benefits. And so you kind of come and you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to breastfeed my other baby because I cannot. If I remember the conversation, what it felt like to me was you're like, I can't do that to Lucas.
Yeah. It's not fair. It's not fair. I gotta give my sons, the head start, both of them.
Right.
Like it's not fair to do that
as
for
much as
Roman.
You can. Right.
Yeah. Especially because I am able to produce, and like a lot of people can't.
Right.
And I do have the luxury of actually doing it.
Right.
So I should do it.
Yeah. I think breastfeeding is probably a really big, so early in Roman's life, you're a first time mom. You basically held him
constantly
for the first I don't know, 6 months of his life,
oh my God,
literally, it was a while.
It was long.
Maybe it was 8 months, the emergency surgery came up, and that's about when
he started sitting at 3 or something,
right.
So he can sit, for 10 minutes, or something. I don't know. But you did,
and I remember he kind of demanded it too.
That's how Lucas is gonna be, and since I'm gonna breastfeed him. He's not gonna be away from me for a year plus until he stops breastfeeding. He's not gonna be overnight anywhere or anything. Lucas.
You don't think you'll pump and send extra? Can you do that? This is where I show my ignorance. You know.
I could, I guess.
I don't know. I'm just curious.
I wouldn't have to. I just don't see the need.
Yeah.
Roman can go stay the night. I'm sure he'll like all the extra attention once his brother comes around.
Yeah.
Once he goes to Gigi's.
Yeah.
I would not want to send it below 1-year-old over to Gigi's if I don't, you know what I mean. If I don't have to, that's. Yeah. She's probably gonna. Plus, just for me.
Once Lucas gets here, it'll change her dynamic on her energy levels too, and how much she can. Because she's actually helped out a lot.
Oh my God.
She's keeps him probably on average every other weekend. You think?
Oh, more than that. I'd say more than every other weekend. I'd say more weekends than not. She enjoys having it.
Well, she definitely enjoys having him. There's no doubt about that.
I
just felt like it was.
There are definitely weekends she doesn't have him, that's for sure. But
yeah.
I feel like it's more often than not.
Right.
If she goes 2 weekends without taking Roman, then it's I feel like
she starts to miss him.
Yeah.
She doesn't do well with 2 weeks.
And so does Roman. Roman's where's my Gigi? Where's my Gigi?
He asked for her, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was up my ass about it yesterday, and that's why he went over there, because he was like, Gigi's house? Gigi's house?
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yes, I texted her, and I was just like, he wants me to get a hold of you. I told him I would get a hold of him. He's really good at communicating when he wants to. He uses a lot of words, yeah.
He does. He's getting a lot. He's doing so well. He really is.
He is.
And he repeats everything.
I know, it's really horrible sometimes.
As he's but that's because he just wants to talk, right? He just wants to talk. He literally is I'm gonna learn how to talk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn what
He's
words
so
are.
good at repeating too. Like he'll get it, he'll say it accurately. Like
Mhm.
if just offer trying to repeat you.
His dad, when his dad was that age, his dad's dictation was so perfect. It literally
wasn't
was.
really that.
Oh
So
my
funny.
gosh, he's literally like, he sounded like the biggest nerd ever. Like I literally, you know, he did not turn out to be that like a, but because I don't want
Roman's kind of lazy
nerds
with
are
it.
cool, right? But say it again.
Roman's kind of lazy with it. He does not dictate his words that great. He's a little kind of lazy.
You really think that's what it is?
Oh, I mean, sometimes I know he could say shit and he just chooses to like not.
There is that. He does that. He is stubborn.
Yeah.
He does get stubborn, and I think he does. You're right. I think he does struggle, but I personally think that comes from the earplugs. What I'm referring to as the earplugs.
I think his ears are fine.
No, they are fine now.
Yeah.
But for those first like couple months,
Oh.
I think the sound was muffled for him. So I think that during that
Also-
time of his development, like he didn't hear things properly. And so, but he's definitely, I mean, it is getting fixed.
I
He
also
is
blame
working.
myself a little bit because he had
Why?
Passy for so long.
I don't think the passy thing. I mean, you're right. He can't talk with a passy in his mouth. I would tell him that every time I came over. But even that, cause like, okay, can I describe this? The earplugs? Cause I remember watching Mom spray.
How old was he? He was like
It was like,
a little over one.
well, no, I want to say it was.
No?
It was during or around when she started keeping him, during like the surgery that you had. Like, cause I think really what happened was she was just doing like
Right.
her basic Gigi, I take care of this
I'm
baby,
gonna clean his ears.
and I'm
Shit,
a great
right.
grandmother, and so I've got this spray peroxide, and she just sprayed it in her ears, and literally these like, probably like a 1/4 inch. I mean, and that maybe that's even big, but they were big enough that they were basically earplugs in his ears that were kind of deep enough that the doctor didn't even notice them. And then they just kind of came out, and I think after that, like my man could hear clearer, right? And I think, I mean, I don't know him, but I think that muffledness really stunted his like the verbal stuff that needs to happen as we're developing.
He talks great now, though.
He does.
I think,
Oh.
yeah, and he used to just prefer not to talk because he had a passy in his mouth. He would literally not care to talk because he just had a passy. So
Right.
he preferred not to do it so long. But now that he doesn't have a passy, he is a chitter chatterbox. He'll talk about anything all day, every day with me.
Right.
So
right.
yeah,
He does. He talks all day.
Yeah,
long,
because
man.
I'm all about like looking at milestones and stuff, and he's like surpassed like language
Right.
milestones and stuff.
As far as like words used
Mhm.
and stuff like that.
Yeah. They recommended like at least 50 or something by 2, and he like way.
Oh my man.
Yeah.
He's like dinosaur Rex.
Yeah, he does everything.
Look, because I was lightweight concerned, and I knew that he needed help, right? And so it was funny, but because I would have him and I would get ice, and ice is a really hard word to say I think as a baby,
Ice.
because you can't see. It's just, you know what I mean? Like you can't see what's going on and make all that. And so I would literally get ice, and I would just say the word ice over and over and over. And I didn't expect him to like respond, but I was like, you know what? Me and this dude are gonna talk. We are gonna talk. He is not gonna, like whatever I was concerned about those earplugs, what I call earplugs, like muffling him. I was like, we're just gonna climb right over that mountain. You know what I mean? And I think that's one reason why he loves words, because Gigi and I would do that with him. We would just words. We would just label everything. Shirt,
he loves-
clothes,
yeah.
table, blah 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 blah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta talk to your baby, even though they don't understand you. You always gotta talk to him.
Yeah.
He's smart, my son. Yeah.
He is very smart and strong.
And strong.
My man climbs
Yeah, he does.
like nothing. Like literally. And he does not want any help. He will climb ladders. Because at his great grandma, she's got that swing set in the very back of the property, and there's that slide. And I can't remember how, but I remember watching him and thinking, I can't believe I'm letting him do that. Like I'm, but I
Free
knew
range
he was like
parenting, man.
strong enough. Free range parenting. You know, I think free range parenting is a really good topic for after our break.
I can't claim that, okay? I don't know the specifics of what that means.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it when we come back from our break.
Okay.
Cool. Hey everybody, thanks. This is cousin Chet. We're gonna have a little bit more musical enjoyment from the house band, Boney Maroney. We're not done. Are we done?
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you, Bonnie Maroney. Appreciate y'all very much. So, before our musical interlude, we were talking about, you had brought up the term free range parenting, and I'm definitely not holding you to like some specifics of a term, but generally, what does it mean for you?
I don't know. I can't say that I'm a free range parent. Free range parenting is just like, I don't know what it even really means. People totally claim that now, so that's like a thing.
Well, because just off hearing it, right, I feel like, it's just parents that are really relaxed, they're kind of hands off.
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
don't know. I let my son do a lot of what he wants.
Like climb stuff?
Yeah, like climb stuff and explore things, and I'm not really worried. Like, the outside, like when he's outside, I'm pretty much going to let him play with any kind of dirt, rocks, sticks, whatever he wants to play with, and I'll let him climb trees, and I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm going to let him balance and be crazy and do whatever he wants with it,
Yeah.
Because that's how he learns how to be confident,
I agree. And I see that. I mean, he really is a very confident kind of, he does love to explore.
He does. He loves to explore. He's so smart. I love him so much.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, but Lucas is coming.
Yeah.
And now you're going to have two.
Yeah. That's a whole new ball game, I've heard. I'm like pretty worried about it.
I don't have kids, just so everybody knows. So when I look stupid, it's because I am. But yeah, whole new ballgame. Because Roman's a lot. I mean, as far as like
he's over 2. He'll be 2.5 when Lucas comes. So, he's at least he's not under 2.
Do you feel like you constantly have to monitor him?
No.
Right.
No, I trust him so much.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I can do dishes for a half hour and I know he'll be fine playing in his room and he'll entertain himself and it'll be cool.
Yeah. Well, so that's kind of good that you have that much space, that Roman is kind of now more independent in the house.
He's so much more independent, yeah. So, it'll be a lot easier to take care of Lucas for that reason, for sure.
Right.
People who have kids 2 under 2, I've heard, it's just like, pray for them.
Yeah. Because now you've got 2 of them that want constant attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes.
Totally. And so kind of to clarify, like, you also chose to be a stay-at-home mom. You're like, I'm going to focus and dedicate my time to raising my child.
I'm privileged enough to be a stay-at-home mom. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I guess I did choose it, but like I'm also like allowed to do that too.
Yeah, I get that. But you could very easily be like, you know what, I'm going to go get a job and I'm going to find childcare and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, the options are there. The privilege is that you have the option, right?
Yeah, I like being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
So it's a privilege to me.
Yes.
For sure, it's a privilege, yes.
Yeah. But like, do you have friends that work and take their kids to daycare and stuff like that? No? Okay. So you don't really. I was trying to see if like you have somebody to compare it to,
No.
like their mothering style to yours.
Nope. I don't have any like mom friends really.
Really?
No.
Is it hard to make mom friends?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Right on.
Yes, I had one mom friend starting out, and that didn't work out. So now I don't have any mom friends. I just have my one best friend, and he's a gay male, and he doesn't relate to mom life at all. But that's fine. I don't expect that of him or anything. Like,
I mean, it's not as much as me trying to relate to it.
Yeah, but like
I mean?
that in turn makes Benjamin like the person I talk to all my shit about.
Yeah.
Because he's like a parent too, but like I also like, you know, he's the one that can relate to me the most.
Right. So, you know, I was thinking about when Roman was born. He was born right before Corona came.
Yeah, I was
like,
lucky.
He was only a couple months old.
Oh my God, I was lucky. It would have been so
when
scary.
the whole Corona event started. And so, like, your opportunities to go to little mommy groups and do all those, like, because I don't really know. Again, I've never been a mom. But I think before friends that I've had, I would see them kind of like do this transition and find little mommy groups and stuff. And I would imagine that would have been very challenging during Corona because everyone was so afraid of, like, especially in the beginning, right? People were afraid of being around new people. People were, you know, it's just hard to make new friends because social distancing kind of made it like, I don't need new friends. I know I was kind of like that. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I cut myself down to my very small circle during that time. So I was definitely not like looking for new friends. So I would imagine that would have been challenging for you.
Yeah, I don't remember how old Roman was right when he was born in 2019 and Corona was in 2020. So he was like a good 8. When did it start exactly?
It was like, I want to say it was like May. No, it was March. Sorry. Because we were in Mount Zion at my brother's wedding. And when I flew back, it was like because his birthday is at the end of February, and he got married like a couple days not far after his birthday in the beginning of March. And that's when the news started trickling. Hey, there's Corona. And then as I was flying back, that's when I heard like Ohio is like shutting stuff down. And so he was like, what? 7 months.
Yeah, I felt like I had
roughly.
friends then. Like, you know, I started off with friends, but after 2 years, they just kind of trickled down.
Was that because some of them didn't have kids?
No, I mean, not really. I didn't have like, I had my girlfriend who had kids, and you know, so that was really my only mom friend, period. And then I wasn't friends with her, so then I'm my best friend Garrett, and that's it. That's really all I had to start off with, anyways. Which I'm cool with, like you know, but like, yeah, mom friends would be fun.
What about
my son too?
Right. What about social media? And like, are there mom groups and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure.
But there's no like physical connection things.
It's just hard for me to like, you know, get out there and make friends. Really, as a mom.
Right on.
That's really it. Like, people reach out to me and they're really cool. It's just like, because I'm like, oh my God, making friends as an adult, my life is boring now. What do I talk to them about? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, that's a really, like, I was kind of, that's why I asked earlier if you know, some of the friends that you lost was because they didn't have kids, because I remember being a person that doesn't have kids, right, and going through that period of my life in my basically through like my 20s, right, is like when all my friends were having their kids, most of them early 20s, but you know, there was definitely this separation of like not having the things in common, and now, you know, they're full of responsibility, and I'm like, but we used to go party all the time, you know what I mean? And it changes, right? Plus their girlfriends are like, oh, he wants to do his party, no, you can't be with him, you know what I mean? And so I can see that kind of separation. It happened in my life with my friends as they had kids.
Yeah, the person I lost did have the kids, so the person who doesn't have kids, Garrett, he's been A1. He'll stick by me even though I have kids and I can't go out or anything. He doesn't care. He'll make time for me and like be my best friend, you know.
Right.
you know, like, and people who party, me and Benjamin, and like we just phased that out of our life. Really, like, that's just not the vibe anymore. And
Yeah.
like, I want to be friends with people who don't expect that out of me. Like, who want to, like, I don't want to go out and like party and have fun. Like, I want to sit here and like, you know, chill and smoke some weed and like, you know.
You're like, I'm just trying to relax. The baby's not
Yeah.
here. I just want to breathe.
Yeah.
But you
They
see what
watch
I'm
a
saying?
movie.
You like, you know, what my experience was like, and yours is kind of like the opposite of what I was saying, right? My friends are like,
Yeah.
that's not of interest to me anymore, Chet. I've got responsibilities, and I'm in my early 20s, and I'm like, but, you know, life could end tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
And-
I want to live for, you know,
Yeah,
wild
right.
and free.
Right? Which is cool though. I mean, like, you can be friends with people. I mean, you know, people. I don't have to have friends with kids. You know, I can be friends with anyone.
But I'm just saying how that dynamic is.
It's hard though.
changes,
It's yeah.
right? 'Cause
It's
you have
hard
different
to
interests, you have
relate.
different exactly.
It's hard to relate
Right,
with each
your
other.
daily life isn't relating
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Right, because
Right.
you're full of being responsible for somebody
Right.
else, and
But I kind of like that though. Like, I could be friends with someone who didn't have kids because they could just talk to me about the shit that they're doing. Your life is probably, you know, popping off in different areas that mine's not, so you can talk about it and I can listen.
right, yeah,
I like that.
yeah. How helpful do you think? You know, because early you were talking about Roman, and you know how you had your mom, you had his grandmothers. Gigi wasn't here when he. I mean, she was here when he was born, but was she here to stay then? I don't think she was here to stay then. She
was here.
She went
when
back
he
home.
was born. She was there at the hospital.
Yeah.
And I feel like she might have gone
I know
to
she
Alaska
did.
for a little bit.
She definitely did, because we met her in Utah. I met her in Utah.
Mhm. And then I remember when Corona hit, you were like, get home, get home, get home.
I was.
Yes.
Exactly. So I think what it was she was here, the baby was born, she probably stayed for a little while. She went home, did whatever she was doing, living her good life. And then we met in early March for my brother's wedding in Utah, because she was driving her RV then. And so yeah, and then why was I saying that? I lost my train of thought. Because I was talking about people that you had for support, right?
Oh,
so you had both grandmas, right? And you had Benny, you had his dad, and you had my mom for a little bit, but then she left. So what I was saying is, because earlier on you said you didn't really feel like you had a lot of people to teach you how to be a mom. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do so much teaching, you know.
Totally.
That's how. I mean, they did. I have the most support I could possibly have as a mother. I will have to say that.
You do have good support.
Yeah, there's no way to say that I didn't have the most support possible.
But what other resource? Oh, sorry to cut you off.
You're fine.
But what I was trying to say is, like, what other resources did you use to try to help you calm down, right? Because you remember you said, he's born and I'm feeling really anxious because I'm just anxious of making any kind of small mistake, because a small mistake could have big consequences. And you were talking, I didn't really know what I was doing, and you had some of these people around, but you still didn't really know what you were doing. And so I was wondering, like, what other resources, like, for instance, I know you use the hospital, right? Because you're like, hey, I'm going to sit here and let the hospital teach me some things, right? and I remember there were times when you would call nurses early on.
I would call a lactation consultant. Right. I called her one time because I was like, I'm not doing this right. It was not right, so.
Right.
Yeah.
But did that help, like having those professional people available to you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt better.
Right on.
I was like, oh my God, I gotta get him tested for a lip tie. He didn't have a lip tie. It was just he had to learn.
A lip tie?
That's what they say. Like, if you're having trouble breastfeeding, check them for like a lip tie. It's like when your like gums are attached to your lip right here.
Oh, got you. Like that
and
little piece of skin is too long in the gum.
And they'll just.
And so it doesn't allow for him to like get suction.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
He didn't have that though, so.
He did not have
No,
that.
it was just he had to learn.
Just operator error.
Yeah.
On both parties.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I really feel like once you get breastfeeding down, it's a lot less scary.
Yeah.
That's really all.
I didn't really mean to get back to breastfeeding, but I was.
Yeah.
but
That's a lot of being a mom.
Right?
It's a lot of shit. It's a lot to do with it.
It's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Or she. I mean, but in your case, it's definitely he.
Mm-hmm.
And another he coming, right?
Yes.
Look, I'm going to get a little bit controversial, but I know you're open-minded. So, I'm curious. Because I know you're open to the LGBTQ plus community, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
My
right?
best friend
Your
is
best friend's
literally
gay.
gay. Yes.
And so, but so when we think about gender, and I don't want to get into like the gender debate, right? But I know that there are some parents out there that are like, I'm gonna not really gender my baby.
I gender my son. Yes.
I was gonna
yes.
say, like, did you
100%.
ever consider that?
Yes.
And, like,
I will gender him until he wants to make other decisions when he's like, like a teenager or whenever that happens.
If it happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna raise you as a boy because you're a boy, and if you want to feel differently later, then we'll tackle that drain later. But yeah.
And you don't
I'm not gonna buy him Barbies because he's
Right.
a boy. I'm not gonna buy him that.
What if like he's walking through the store and he grabs one and says he wants it?
Just be like, no. Pick something else.
Right. I'm just curious. Because I mean, I guess toys is like.
I mean, I don't know, because I have no problem buying like pink stuff. He has pink toys. He has, he has unicorns already.
Yeah.
He just accumulates toys. It's not like I'm gonna
gosh.
take shit away from him or anything and be like, you can't play with that.
Right.
You can play with whatever you want, but I'm probably not gonna buy you girl toys. No.
Right.
You
think that's one of the big differences in like how we raise our boys and our girls is the toys? I mean, that's
There's a lot of
big.
differences.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of differences.
If Roman was a girl, what would you do different?
I don't know.
Like, would you let him climb as much?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Right, yeah.
So, like.
But, like.
I mean, and we're just talking about 2
dress
years
her like a
old.
Girl.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to dress
definitely.
them gender appropriately. I'm not one of those, it has to be gender neutral clothing, mom.
Right. Fair enough.
You can be like that if you want to. I'm not making fun of anybody.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I know you're one of those people. You really do. You're like me.
I like traditional values. I don't know.
But you also are like, you do you.
Yeah.
Like, it's your choice.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
gonna-
Whatever that is for you.
Right.
Like, I'm not here
Right.
to judge you.
Right.
If you're
Yeah, my sons can do the same.
gender non-conforming or if there's a sexuality.
Right. When my son understands what gender is and not gender non-conforming or whatever, he can dress however the fuck he wants. I don't care.
Right.
Like,
Right.
when he's old enough to understand, but as a child who's just worried about the butterflies and worried about the bubbles and the outside, I'm
The
going to dress
butterflies
you
and
like
the
a boy
bubbles.
and treat you like a boy because that's what you are,
Yeah.
You
Totally. Yeah. I was just really curious because it kind of came up in something you were saying, and I was thinking along those lines of like, that's one of the ways that we sexualize gender culturally. You know what I mean? We kind of tell a boy this is how you're a boy, right? We tell a girl this is how to be a girl, right? And I think that's relaxing a lot nowadays. There are people making other choices. They're saying, you know what, these things, we're going to non-gender. Maybe we're non-gender in Barbie. Or maybe we're, I don't care if my son plays with Barbies. It's just not a gender thing that I care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some parents that will, maybe it's dresses and skirts. They're like, I'm not going to gender that. My son picks out a dress today. Oh, well.
No, he's not wearing dresses.
That's not.
Not happening.
Right?
No, I'm not.
Right.
No, I'm going to teach him that dresses are for girls. And he'll be like, oh, okay, dresses are for girls. Like,
Yeah.
and then until he's like old enough to be like, I want to wear dresses and I don't give a shit.
So he's
They're
like
for girls.
15. He's like, Mom, I'm going to go to the talent show and this is the dress I'm wearing.
And I'll be like, okay, man.
Cool.
I don't care. Because you're old
Yeah.
enough to realize, like, what you're doing and what kind of, like, you just, I don't know. Like,
Well, and for me, when I say that, I'm thinking about my youngest brother. I don't even know if this is correct right now, but I feel like there was a time where like he had really long hair and he was like this. I'm not going to describe him. I'm going to use these words to describe his look, right? It was kind of like this punk Beastie Boys, long hair though, and I feel like remembering him with like a dress on. Maybe it was probably a kilt or something. But anyway, And it was like that, right?
Kurt
It was a
Cobain
talent
wore a
show
dress.
kind of thing and all that jazz. Kurt Cobain.
He wore a dress.
I love
And he's
Kurt
a badass, so.
Did I ever
Yeah.
tell you I met Kurt?
Yes.
I did?
Yes.
I don't know.
Fucking so
Should I tell-
cool.
should I tell-
Not
Should I
even
tell
fair,
everybody
so freaking
how I met
cool.
Kurt Cobain? So let me tell. So this is my Kurt Cobain story, and this is
So
a true
fucking
story.
cool.
So right after I graduated high school, my mom moves to Alaska, and I go up with them, and then I fly back, and I get back here. I get back home, which is 5,000 miles away, and kind of like how you're talking about being scared. I was scared. I was like, I'm out here on my own. You know, like I had my grandma over here, and my dad, who I didn't have a relationship. Like I had spent some time with him, and I felt loved, but my dad was really poor and didn't really. I mean, he helped me, but he didn't have a lot to give to help. You know what I mean? And so I was really scared about getting in trouble. So I joined the Navy. Right before I joined the Navy, I flew up to Alaska to share Christmas with my mom before I went off to boot camp. And my flight was really weird because when I drove up, I bought a round trip ticket back, right? But when I flew back, I flew to St. Louis because I went to this thing in St. Louis before I came home. So I had to get to St. Louis and then get a flight from St. Louis to Alaska. This is overly complicated. It doesn't matter. The point of the matter is a part of my trip takes me from Denver, Colorado, Seattle, and then to Anchorage. In Denver, I'm sitting on that row right by where everybody walks in, right? And here comes Nirvana. Mind you, my Aunt Missy, because she loves me, took me to Nirvana's concert in Dayton, Ohio on Halloween that same year.
On Halloween?
I'm pretty sure it was
That's
Halloween.
just too fucking
Or
cool,
it
dude.
it was like really close to Halloween. It may have been
It's
on
way
Halloween.
too cool.
We'll
You
have
guys
that
know.
ass
God.
So here I am sitting in the front row, and literally Courtney Love and Kurt are in my face. They are right here. And Courtney's pissed because there's something like there were only 3 seats in first class, and she wanted the baby. She wanted Frances Bean to be with them. And I don't know, honestly, what was going on. But Courtney was having issues with the seating arrangements, and there were some seats in first class and some in coach. So they have this discussion, and as they solve it and go about their ways, I remember the students saying, oh my gosh, who are they? Like, they act like they're famous or something. And I looked up at her, I was like, that is Nirvana.
Right? Like, hello.
How could you? How dare? And so I'm like, that's Nirvana. So anyway, we get on the flight. We fly from Denver to Seattle. Denver to Seattle was a high elevation, and my ears popped to a level I have never experienced. All right, like how you can usually drop, swallow some gum, whatever, yawn. Didn't work. Anyway, so get in Seattle. We're getting off the plane, and I'm on my way down because I want to smoke a cigarette. I got a little bit of time for my layover. I get down, and in Seattle, they got a subway system. So we're in the waiting platform, and there's Kurt Cobain. And here I am. I wasn't like super fanboy, but I just went to my dude's concert, and I totally enjoyed the album Nevermind. So I walk up to him like a lame, and I'm like, you're Kurt Cobain, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, hey, I really enjoyed your show in Dayton, Ohio on Halloween. Totally rock. Thanks, bro. And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, do you know, he starts asking me about local bands and if I knew these local bands.
How does it feel to live my dream? Like, just saying, like, oh my
Right.
God.
So,
Literally having a conversation with
Yes.
Kurt Cobain.
it doesn't last long though, because
Still.
shortly thereafter, Courtney calls him over, and I remember hearing her say, what are you done talking to them? And I was like, fuck you, Courtney.
He
I
was
am
like
not
the
a
coolest
them.
man
Like,
in existence.
Why you want to
ever,
call
dude.
me a them, Courtney? Courtney Love, I love you. I'm giving you a shout out right now. Hit me up. Let's share a story.
She's the worst.
But no. So anyway, we get on the subway, and Courtney and him they're kind of like bickering about money or something like that. I can't remember exactly what. Money was definitely part of it. Anyway, we get off the subway. We go out to the smoking area, and like the whole band's out there, right? Dave Grohl's there, which at the time I didn't really know Dave. I knew Kurt because he was the front man kind of thing. I knew Courtney because she was loud. Anyhow, so he comes over to me. Kurt Cobain walks over to me as I'm smoking a cigarette, and he's like, so what are you doing in town? Literally in my mind, I'm going, please tell me you will pay for my ticket if I don't go home right away because I want to go hang out with you.
I would have just seriously pissed my pants
Oh
if that man talked to me ever.
Oh my gosh, it was so surreal. So anyway, we're smoking a cigarette, and as he's talking to me, I'm like, Kurt, I was like, I cannot hear you. He was like, huh? I was like, my ears have popped so hard. It's like they hurt, and I cannot really hear you. And he's like, that happens to me all the time. Because he flies a lot, and he lives in Seattle. And he goes, go like this, and I'm going to try to do this the best that I can. But he's like, he does this, he goes, and like pops his jaw like that. Emily, I did it that day, and my ears cleared right the frick up. Literally, instantly. Every time my ears have popped afterwards and I've tried that, it doesn't work.
He's mad.
But anyway, but every time I try it, guess who I think about?
He's a magic man.
Kurt Cobain.
He's the best.
Anyhow, so Courtney comes out and she calls him over again, and that was the end of my meeting Kurt Cobain.
Still, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was pretty
fair.
awesome.
You lived so many people's dreams.
Have you ever met anybody famous?
No.
No? It'll probably happen one day.
No, I hope I'll meet Dave Chappelle one day because he lives in Yellow Springs, so
Yeah.
that's my only chance of meeting someone famous.
My dude said he saw him the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Said he saw him. I can't remember. He was out there
He's
signing.
out there all the time. Okay.
Yeah, he's out there all the time.
You hang out in Oakwood.
I've hung out there and I've never run into
You
him.
hang out in Oakwood before too long.
Yeah,
I
but
hope so. I hope I see
yeah.
him one day.
I think Dave is gonna start bringing people into Yellow Springs, bro. They're gonna turn Yellow Springs into a small little. I'm kind of scared of what they might do because I think some Hollywood money's about to come in. I really do. I heard Bradley Cooper is starting to invest money out there.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm legit scared.
No freaking way.
Because they're gonna take this little artsy, I love
Ohio's
it.
the shit, okay? People who
I
talk
agree.
shit about Ohio literally haven't left their little town or their little bubble of people. Ohio is the shit. It's really beautiful. It's around there's so much stuff to do here. Huge cities here. You just gotta travel to them. And there's a lot of rural area as well, like a bunch of farmland and stuff. There's a lot to do here.
A lot of natural parks.
Yeah, so much
of
nature. Lots of
waterfalls, lakes, beaches.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not ocean beaches, but
Still.
no, I agree.
Yeah,
with you.
people who say Ohio sucks, no, you just suck.
Yeah.
You just suck. Get outside and touch some grass or something. I don't know.
I'm okay. They can stay out. But I love Dave, and I love what he has done for Yellow Springs. And I know he brings national and international attention to it. Like he mentioned it in his comedy special the other day. Have you seen that?
Yeah. People cancel him for it. So stupid.
I don't think you can cancel Dave Chappelle. but I literally don't. Dave Chappelle canceled himself, took a vacation, and came back. And people were like, oh my God, Dave, why did you leave?
I guess you really can only cancel people who give a shit. Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, nah, people are going to, dude.
You really can only get canceled if you
You
really
think Dave's
care.
not going to be able to sell a TV spot? You think Dave's not going to be able to sell a stadium or, like an auditorium?
I live for controversial people,
You know?
though.
I love him because he speaks his mind.
Yeah.
And if you listen to, especially, like, Dave is clever with his words. But if you really listen to his last Netflix special, The Closer, if you really listen to that, you will hear him. Because he is very specifically saying what he's saying, but he knows he's pulling triggers. You know what I mean? He
He's
knows
funny.
he is. Yeah.
I like him.
But so yeah, I love Yellow Springs, and I love Dave being there. But I'm kind of lightweight scared that too much money, because that little town is built on hippie artisans.
I'm so ready, bro. I don't care. Bring the rich people. I want to look at
Bring
them.
the rich people. She's like Bradley Cooper, like who?
I would feel so cool. I'd be like, yeah, he lives in my state, and I'm just a couple towns away from him, and that's
Right.
really cool. And I want to look at them. They're
That's
famous.
awesome.
That'd be cool to see them in
Yeah.
public. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe they'll do some cool shit around here and build some cool stuff that I can use too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I'm not too worried about that. I feel like the springs will be the springs. They won't like destroy it or anything.
I mean, everything changes. I just, when you think about like cities like Austin and San Francisco, these cities that were built on like artists and like a
gentrification now.
positive community oriented situation, and then people with money come in because they like that vibe, and then they kind of commercialize that vibe.
The
And you
gentrification.
can't. Yes.
Yes, that is exactly what you just described.
It's exactly what it is, because you can't commercialize that kind of art. You can't commercialize that authenticity.
Yeah.
Like commercialization of it in and of itself negates that authenticity. You know?
And then they drive the native people out.
Right. Because they
So
can't
then
afford
it
to
just
stay.
becomes like another bullshit piece of bullshit.
Dave, please don't do that to Yellow Springs. With that being said, Emily, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for talking and hanging out with me. I love you. I love my nephew. I love Roman and Lucas. And I'm looking forward to them being here. And thank you all for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. And now we are going to have more Bony Macaroni.